Make an image. A young girl in Chennai, India, growing up in a conservative middle-class household, with no privilege, no connections, and no guarantees of success. Her family didn't own a car. She didn't live in a mansion. She studied under the dim light of kerosene lamps when electricity went out, and her parents constantly reminded her that discipline, education, and humility were the keys to survival. That little girl was Indra Nooyi, the woman who would one day climb from those modest roots to sit at the helm of one of the largest corporations in the world, PepsiCo. Her story isn't just about shattering glass ceilings, it's about determination, resilience, and redefining what's possible when you dare to dream beyond boundaries. Indra Nooyi was born in 1955 in Madras, now Chennai, India, into a family that valued education above all else. Her father worked at the State Bank of Hyderabad, and her mother was a homemaker who instilled discipline, order, and the importance of hard work in her children. They lived in a small, modest home where luxuries were few and sacrifices were many. But what they lacked in wealth, they made up for in values. Every evening, her mother would ask Indra and her sister to imagine themselves as world leaders, delivering speeches to change the future of the country. These imaginary debates planted the seeds of ambition in young Indra's mind. Still, life was far from easy. As a young girl in India during the 1960s, societal expectations weighed heavily on her. Women were expected to marry early, to take care of households, and to prioritize family over ambition. Pursuing higher education and building a career wasn't the common path for women at the time. But Indra Nooyi was different. She wasn't content with following a script written for her. She wanted to create her own story. Indra attended Holy Angels Anglo-Indian Higher Secondary School, where she excelled academically. She then pursued her bachelor's degree in physics, chemistry, and mathematics from Madras Christian College. But her restless spirit was hungry for more. While her peers were preparing for traditional jobs, Indra dared to take a bold leap. She applied to the Indian Institute of Management in Calcutta, one of the most prestigious business schools in India. It was a daring move, not only because the program was grueling, but also because very few women entered that space at the time. At IIM Calcutta, she stood out not just for her intelligence, but for her drive, her discipline, and her willingness to take risks. But Indra wasn't done yet. She knew the world was bigger than India, and she wanted to test herself against the best. So with little money but an unshakable dream, she applied to Yale School of Management in the United States. Against the odds, she was accepted. In 1978, Indra landed in America, carrying only her determination and a handful of belongings. She had no safety net, no wealthy relatives abroad, and very little financial support. She worked overnight as a receptionist to make ends meet, often wearing a sari to job interviews because she couldn't afford a suit. She would later recall that cultural shock hit her hard, struggling to adapt to American life, to find her place, and to prove that an immigrant woman from India belonged in the boardrooms of corporate America. But Indra never let discomfort define her. She powered through Yale, graduating with a master's degree in public and private management in 1980. Her career began at Booz Allen Hamilton, a consulting firm, and later at Motorola, where she made her mark by demonstrating a sharp mind for strategy and a leadership gift. At Motorola, she rose quickly, becoming vice president and director of corporate strategy. Colleagues soon realized that this Indian woman with a thick accent and boundless energy was a force to be reckoned with. Her big break came when she joined Assia Brown Boveri, a Swiss-Swedish multinational, as a senior executive. But it was in 1994 that her career truly transformed, when she was recruited by PepsiCo. At that time, PepsiCo was one of the most recognized brands in the world, but it was also facing challenges. The company needed leaders who could balance vision with execution, and Nooyi quickly proved she was the right person for the job. Rising rapidly through the ranks, Indra Nooyi became Chief Financial Officer in 2001, and just 5 years later, she was named CEO, the first woman, the first immigrant, and the first person of color to lead PepsiCo in its long history. It was a groundbreaking achievement, but with the role came enormous pressure. She was tasked with steering a $200 billion company through a shifting global market, changing consumer habits, and fierce competition. As CEO, Indra Nooyi transformed PepsiCo. She believed that corporations had to do more than chase profits. They had to serve people and the planet. She called this vision performance with purpose. Under her leadership, PepsiCo reduced its reliance on sugary drinks, invested heavily in healthier snack options, and doubled down on sustainability initiatives. She believed that the future of business wasn't about short-term gains, but about long-term responsibility. This philosophy wasn't always popular. Critics accused her of straying from Pepsi's core identity, but Nooyi held firm. She believed that leadership wasn't about doing what's easy. It was about doing what's right. Her leadership style was deeply personal and people-focused. She often wrote heartfelt letters to the parents of her top executives, thanking them for raising such talented individuals. She walked the floors of PepsiCo's offices, engaging with employees, listening to their concerns, and inspiring loyalty. For Nooyi, leadership wasn't about commanding from the top, it was about lifting others up. But her journey wasn't without challenges. As one of the few women of color at the top of corporate America, she constantly battled stereotypes and skepticism. Every decision she made was scrutinized more harshly than those of her peers. On top of that, she struggled with the universal challenge of balancing career and family. She often spoke candidly about the guilt she felt as a working mother, admitting that there were times she couldn't attend her daughter's school events or spend as much time at home as she wanted. Yet she also emphasized that no leader, especially women, should ever feel forced to choose between ambition and family. Instead, she advocated for creating workplaces that support balance and inclusion. During her 12-year tenure as CEO, PepsiCo's revenue grew by more than 80%. She pushed the company into new international markets, expanded its product portfolio, and made PepsiCo one of the most forward-looking companies in the world. Her legacy wasn't just about financial success. It was about reshaping what a modern global corporation could be. In 2018, Indra Nooyi stepped down as CEO, leaving behind a powerful legacy. She was consistently ranked among the world's most powerful women by Forbes and Fortune, and her impact extended far beyond PepsiCo. She became a role model for women, immigrants, and aspiring leaders everywhere. She showed that you could stay true to your roots, embrace your identity, and still succeed in the most competitive arenas in the world. So, what lessons can we learn from Indra Nooyi's story? First, that your beginnings don't define your destiny. You don't need privilege or wealth to build an extraordinary life. You need courage, education, and relentless determination. Second, that leadership isn't about power, it's about purpose. The true measure of a leader is not how much they achieve for themselves, but how much they create for others. And third, that obstacles aren't roadblocks, they're tests. Whether it was cultural shock, financial hardship, or gender bias, Indra Nooyi used every obstacle as fuel to propel her further. Her journey from a middle-class household in Chennai to the corner office of PepsiCo is proof that ambition knows no boundaries. It's proof that the world makes room for those who refuse to accept limits. And it's proof that leadership with vision can transform not just companies, but entire industries. So, question yourself. What's your version of performance with purpose? What's the bigger mission behind your dreams? Because success without purpose is just profit. But success with purpose can change the world. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which part of Indra Nooyi's journey inspires you the most? Share it in the comments below. And if this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories of resilience, leadership, and vision. Always remember, your roots are not your ceiling. Like Indra Nooyi, you can rise from anywhere, dream without limits, and leave behind a legacy that inspires generations.